I feel like I'm a little bit sweaty because my room gets really hot in the summer. So if I look a little frazzled, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you the books on my summer reading list. I have 7 books that I want to finish. 2 of them I've already started. 1 of them I'm really close to finishing. I really want to read a lot this summer because this past semester at college I took an English class for the first time, and everything I'm showing today is stuff that I already own. So I didn't go out and buy any books for this video because I already have enough sitting on my shelves that I haven't read yet. The first book that I've been reading, I'm actually embarrassed how long I've been reading this book, is Book of Night by Holly Black. You might know Holly Black. She wrote the Spiderwick Chronicles, and she wrote like half of my books on this top shelf are Holly Black. Holly Black is my absolute favorite author, and I was so excited to read this. First of all, can we appreciate the cover? Like, there was a dust cover, but this is just absolutely gorgeous. So this is a little different than most of her other writing because you might have, if you're on Book Talk, I'm not on Book Talk. I watch videos about Book Talk though. And I guess a while back, a lot of people were recommending The Cruel Prince, which I have right here. Her book, The Cruel Prince, and I was kind of surprised that it was getting as much traction as it was on Book Talk because, well, it's a great book. Great book. I loved it. But in the realm of like romantasy, fairy smut, it's not very smutty, which I like about it because I don't really typically like books that have much of a romance storyline. When I read fantasy, I want it to be more focused on the fantasy part. There is definitely a romance storyline, so I would put that more so romantasy than some of her other books. But anyways, beyond The Cruel Prince, Book of Night. She typically writes YA fantasy fiction. This is definitely a more adult novel. It's kind of her first adult novel. It's more of a crime thriller, but there's still like an element of magic to it. But instead of it being about fairies, it's more so about like shadow magic. People can manipulate their shadows to do crime. Oh my god, I love it. I have been reading this for so long. I started it last spring when I was in cosmetology school, and then when I finished school I just wasn't reading on my lunch breaks anymore. I've been reading this book for so long, but it's not because it's bad, it's because I went back to college and literally didn't pick it up for like 8 months. But now that I've picked it back up, I've been flying through the last like third of it. So, but yeah, Book of Night, this is truly, I haven't even finished it and it's one of my favorite books. Okay, so we're sticking with the Holly Black theme. So this is going to be a really, obviously really quick read. It's How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. And it actually goes along with these 4 books, the Cruel Prince trilogy, and then, and then The Darkest Part of the Forest. And the thing I love about this, I know this isn't like the most sophisticated read, but it has all these, okay, if I could like, it has all these absolutely gorgeous illustrations. And like, even just like on each page, there's just little vines and drawings. And I started reading it a little bit months ago again. Also, okay, the one thing I hate though about the illustrations is that I did not picture him looking like that at all. He looks like such a pretty boy. I pictured him a little more rough around the edges. I'm probably gonna go back and restart this one. It's less than 200 pages. It's 173 pages. But this is just like a little follow-up story to the Folk of Heir trilogy, which I was talking about earlier, The Cruel Prince. I won't get into it because I feel like it's been talked about on Book Talk a lot. Okay, this is the last I'm going to talk about Holly Black, I promise. I'm just going to show you these 2 together. These are like follow-ups to the trilogy where it's focusing, I think, more so on her younger brother, the main character's younger brother. He's like grown up and it follows his story. And oh my god, look at the cover of this. I hadn't taken the dust cover off. Okay, so that's The Stolen Heir. That's the first one. And I'm not sure if she just wrote these 2, if there's going to be a third one. Okay, let me look. This is the second one, The Prisoner's Throne. Oh my god. See, like, usually I do paperback, but I do enjoy a beautiful cover like that. I bought these a while back, and I did buy these new. I got them as a box set. I don't remember how much they were. Now I'm moving on to non-Holly Black books. I have had this book on my shelf for years and have never read it. I got it at a used bookstore, and I actually bought it not knowing what it was, because they'll do this thing where they like wrap it in paper so you can't see what you're getting, and they write a little description on the paper where it's like, if you like this type of book, you'll like this. This is not something I usually read because I read a lot of fantasy and I read a lot of YA fiction. This is about a private eye, so it's kind of a crime novel, I believe, which if I don't read fantasy, I like crime and like crime. I like crime and thrillers, but it's called Strega, not sure. And this is the only book I have on my list that's written by a man, Andrew Vox. I'm a little nervous to read this because it sounds pretty gritty, kind of like discovering an underbelly of the city while she's doing this investigation. But, you know, I want to kind of expand my horizons a little bit and not just read YA fiction fantasy. So, and again, I've had this for years, so I'm looking forward to reading this. I need to read Gone Girl. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This has been on my list to read, again, for years, because I saw the movie Gone Girl when it came out in 2014 and immediately loved it, and I just love it more every time I watch it. It's one of my favorite movies, but I've never read the book. I've been intimidated because it's like 400 pages, which, you know, I went years without really reading regularly, so 400 pages is pretty intimidating for me. And also, this is another book that I just got. Like, pretty much all my books I get that aren't Holly Black, I just get from the used bookstore. So yeah, if you don't know the story of Gone Girl, basically this woman, Amy, goes missing, and I think the book switches between her point of view and her husband's point of view, because her husband is like the prime suspect in her disappearance, presumed murder. And basically, I know in the movie, you aren't sure if he's guilty or if he's innocent. And there's just, oh my god, so many twists and turns. I'm so excited to read this. Before I show you the last book, I just wanted to mention, I don't want to read this entire book, but I definitely want to look through it a little bit. I got this for Christmas, I think last year, and I've kind of looked through it a little bit, but it's an astrology book. I'm really into astrology, and this goes a little more in depth. This is Aspects in Astrology by Sue Tompkins. It's a guide to understanding planetary relationships in the horoscope. So it goes more so in depth of planetary placements in houses and how they relate to each other. So it just kind of helps you get a better picture, like how to read a birth chart, because it helps you kind of connect the dots between just, okay, here's your birth chart. It actually teaches you how to interpret how the different planets interact with each other within your chart. You know, you've got all these little charts, and she does use like real people, like celebrities, as examples, so that's interesting. Okay, so the last book on my reading list, I saved my most anticipated for last. It's this book. I bought it because I saw the spine, and I bought this years ago, but I saw the spine, and I'm like, I love the color scheme, and it just caught my eye with the lime green. This is Tangerine by Christine Mangan. I'm not sure if that's how you say her name. So I was drawn to it by the cover, and it is, again, a kind of a thriller, so a little out of my wheelhouse outside of fantasy, but it takes place in Morocco in the 1950s, and there's a woman, I presume from Britain. From what I can gather, it's about a woman and her husband who moved to Morocco after some sort of accident. That's all it says. and she ends up running into like her ex-best friend, female ex-best friend. Definitely sounds like there's kind of a sapphic storyline where it's kind of like her and her roommate maybe had feelings for each other and then had a falling out. So yeah, her ex-roommate, ex-best friend is there in Morocco, and they kind of reconnect, but then it's like the main character's husband goes missing, and it sounds like maybe the ex-best friend had something to do with it. I don't know. But also just like a little thing, the pages are like uneven, which I think is interesting. But this has been compared to The Talented Mr. Ripley, which I've never read or seen. And it has been, the writing's been compared to Gillian Flynn, who wrote Gone Girl. So I'm hoping, since I loved the story of Gone Girl at least, that I'll like this as well. And this is really my most anticipated read this summer, and I've been wanting to read it for so long. So yeah, that's what books I'm reading this summer. If you have a summer reading list, you should comment what's on your summer reading list, or maybe just what you're reading right now. And then also, of all the books I showed just now, I'd love to hear if any of y'all have read any of those yourself and if you like them or not. I still have a few books on my shelf that I haven't read that I need to, but I'm trying to set a realistic goal for myself this summer, and I feel 7 books is kind of, oh my god, it feels like a lot for me because I really went so long without reading after high school. But again, taking English this last semester has gotten me really back into reading. I am taking a couple summer classes, but I'm only taking 2, and they're one at a time, and they're online. So I think I am still going to have plenty of free time to read. I hope you liked hearing what I'm going to be reading this summer, and leave a comment. Let me know what you're reading. Bye!